Have you ever wondered how people choose how they want to feel like happiness? If so, you're in the right place because I got the answers for you, my friends. So, this is super easy, practical, no woo woo, and frankly, just a lot of fun. I want to leave you with practical steps to ensure that you're successful at this fun and easy task. Are you ready? I'm excited. But before we dive into how we choose happiness, for example, let's just back it up for a hot second. We must know where we are emotionally before bringing in what we truly want. So, my friend, I'm going to ask you this. Where is your emotional home? I invite you to look at your whole day and reflect, what emotions do you feel daily? Do you feel joy and happiness, peaceful and love? Or frankly, do you feel overwhelmed, stressed, angry, or even frustrated? We must get seriously honest with ourselves to see where we're showing up on the daily. If we're consistent in a state of anger, stress, tiredness, overwhelm, it can feel impossible to bring in the emotions that we want. I wanted to share these techniques with you to remove any old, non-useful emotions that can plague us so that we can honestly choose the emotions we truly desire. I'll give you a prime example in my life. I got no shame in my game and I love to be real. For years, for years, I would get irritated. That was an emotional home for me. I would wake up irritated. I get triggered at work. I would get triggered on the commute. I would even get triggered the moment I walked in my house. It was a constant state of irritation, and I felt like I had no control over it. But what I didn't know is that I do have the power. And as I got conscious of this, I thought to myself, God, this is not me. This is not my true essence. And honestly, this is not how I want to show up in the world. The wild thing is, these emotional states are patterns that we pick up from years ago and even from our childhood. And check this out. As I reflected on this aha moment, I realized that this emotional pattern of irritation was from my childhood. Yes, an adult woman with a pattern from her childhood. It's wild, right? But we all have them. We just have to get conscious of them. So my question was, how the heck do I get rid of this? And what I came to realize is that I have to interrupt that emotional pattern of irritation. Took me a hot second. So what is your emotional state, especially at work or at home? What do you want to get rid of? If you can't think of anything, I have a fantastic trick for you. Think of someone that you get annoyed with. Yes, this is true. And that thing that annoys you is the thing that you need to work on. Because the beauty of all this is that we are reflections for each other. If someone triggers you, that's the thing that you need to work on yourself. It's not them, it's you. Does that make sense? That was another mind-blowing moment when I figured that out. So now that we have the emotional state we want to get rid of, and the fastest way to do that is through our physiology, our amazing body. For example, when I felt irritation coming on, there are many things I can do to interrupt that pattern. But since many triggers happen at work, I can give you sneaky things to do. So when I first started using pattern interrupts at work, I thought I needed to use something to jolt me out, right? And so I would do this. But when I found out that there's way too many people around, and so I would only do it sporadically. So I decided on doing something more incognito that would not draw attention to me. And that's when I decided to pull on my earlobe. That's right. If you've ever seen me do it, you know that's why. And I've been using this technique for years. Other simple and easy ways to interrupt your pattern are by snapping the fingers, tapping the side of your eye, or even placing just your right hand over your heart. There are definitely endless possible ways to be incognito at work. Okay, now we're at the good part. When you feel the emotion coming on, like you're entirely in it, a full-on, for me, irritation, immediately start your pattern interrupt. I would start pulling on my ear. And what this does is it changes the focus of your energy away from the emotion. You are interrupting your own pattern. And when this happens, this is a skoma occurs. Yes, it's a scientific word that means that opening happens in your mind, a vacuum of sorts, and honestly wants to be filled. So this is where we choose how we want to feel. So take a moment today and ask yourself, how do I want to feel daily? How do I want to show up in this beautiful world? Is it peaceful? Is it excited? Is it curiosity? Is it happiness or bliss? You get to choose whatever your heart desires. That puts you in the driver's seat, no longer the passenger of life. You become the creator. Okay, so now that we have the emotional state we want to get rid of, we have the pattern interrupt, and the high vibration emotion we want to feel, like happiness, the question becomes like, how do we anchor this new pattern? And I love simplicity. I got some great ideas to anchor happiness. So probably one of the coolest things about wearing a mask right now, especially at work, is that no one can see you smile. A smile is a fantastic way to anchor a high vibration emotion. Dopamine and serotonin get released when you smile, and the scoma then is replaced by this high frequency emotion. Another great anchor is thinking of a joyous time in your life. And as you're thinking it, squeeze your right hand and feel that emotion. You can also use this technique of a right hand squeeze with any memory. Again, endless possibilities to anchor in the emotion you desire. So let's recap real quick. You have an emotion you no longer want. Example, let's say overwhelm. And when you get triggered with this overwhelm is when you want to interrupt that pattern. And to stop it in its tracks, using a technique like tapping on the side of your eye, for example. This changes the focus of overwhelm, and the opening occurs for the new emotion to come in. This is where you now choose the emotion you desire. Let's say joy. If I want to bring joy, I would actually think of a time that I laughed my butt off. And as I'm feeling it, I would start to squeeze my right hand. Now you're in the state of joy. So if you decide to give this a try, make sure to give yourself grace. Remember, you had these old patterns for a while, if like me, since childhood. It might take some time to eradicate the old emotional state and replace it with a new one. As you remove the old emotional state from your life, it is a whole lot easier to choose everyday high vibration emotion like happiness, joy, or love. The choice is all yours, my friend. This process I just took you through is helping you expand your identity. The more potent force in the human psyche is staying consistent on how you define yourself. If you desire, yearn, or want more, you will need to push the boundaries of your identity. And before we depart, I want to share one last nugget of gold, something for you to ponder this afternoon. The quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. You want an extraordinary life? Bring forth those incredible emotions. And until next week, live, laugh, and be uniquely you. And I will see you on the flip side. Bye.